Hey guys, welcome to Kingsbury's Court. This is Kingsbury. Today we're going to look over for City of Heroes Incarnate powers. A lot of people have been having questions about Incarnates and how to use them, how to select them, and what are they. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into this. But first, let's hear a message from our sponsor. All right, let's give a shout out to our sponsor today, TC Marketing. TC Marketing has over 20 years of advertising, marketing, and promotional experience. TC Marketing's easy-to-navigate website has over 850,000 products, both generic and brand name products. They will work with you personally to ensure that you are able to keep your brand and logo integrity. So when you are ready to market and promote your brand, team, or business, follow the website to give TC Marketing a shout out and receive the professional care that you deserve. All right, so what we're really going to go over today, I'm just going to put it out here right and easy for it. We're going to go out what are the Incarnate powers. Incarnate, shards, XP, how do you get to level it up, what each of the different slots actually does, choosing your Incarnate powers, and Incarnate trials, task force, and then also we're going to talk about the Darkest Story arc. It's a quick way of improving your stuff. So, okay, what are the Incarnate powers? Well, these are the abilities that you get after you turn 50. They give you that chance to give you level shifts. So when you see somebody with level 50 plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, they get that through increasing your Incarnate powers. Your Incarnate abilities come from, they're in 4 different rarities. They're going to be either common, uncommon, rare, or very rare. The higher the rarity of your Incarnate power, the more the power has or the ability has that affects what your character can do. Okay, so unlocking and leveling up the Incarnates. What you're going to need to do is you get Incarnate XP. You can do that through either regular missions, task force, strike forces, or Incarnate trials. Also, one thing I didn't have up here, you can unlock your alpha by doing the Ouroboros arc for Incarnates. Then you won't have to actually use XP to get your alpha on slot. So it's dependent upon how you are playing your character, will depend upon how you want to actually unlock these Incarnate abilities within Incarnate XP. After unlocking your Incarnates, you're going to have to start creating stuff. And what you're going to end up using is you're going to use shards, threads, astral merits, Empyrean merits to craft your Incarnate levels. All right, so we're going to talk about our Incarnate abilities. So they have the different Incarnate abilities. You got your alpha. Your alpha is going to always be active, and when you get to level T3 or T4, that gives you the level shift. Interface, it's always active. Judgment, it's an attack power, but you also get a level shift if you're get it to level 3 or 4. Destiny is a click power, just the same thing. You click it and it gives you the ability that lasts for X amount of time period. It also is a level shift that gives you T3/T4. Lore is where you will summon pets for a limited amount of time. And the hybrid is a toggle with a timer. They go 2 to 3 minutes, and then it has a cooldown of like 2 minutes, and then you can reactivate it. All right, so let's start off with the first one, Alpha Slot. This is the one that you can either unlock by doing the Oros Incarnate ability, or you can just get it through XP. But once the Alpha Slot, you have a whole bunch of different ones to choose from. You have Agility. This one is more for endurance modification and defense buffs are the big things that stick out with that. You have Cardiac, which can give you that reduce endurance costs of all your powers and also increase your damage resistance. Your Intuition, this one also reduces endurance costs and also increases your damage resistance and also increases your range of attacks. Musculature, this is one that gives you that increased damage and also defense debuffs, endurance modifications, run speeds, It just depends upon which route you go with it. Nerve. This one will also increase accuracy, your hold, your taunts. It also increases defense buffs. Resilience. This is also one that focuses on damage resistance and your 2-hit buffs. It also works on taunts, immobiles, and some stuns. Spiritual. This one will work more on your recharge, but also has like healing and stun, slow, and also 2-hit buffs. And then you have your vigor. And this is the one that increases your healing and accuracy and gives a little bit of an end reduction. Okay, so next one we're going to talk about is interface. Interface is it increases your attacks by adding either damage procs or abilities. The ones I'm going to actually kind of just point out the ones that seem to be most popular that I've known. Degenerative. That one seems to be more popular mainly because of the hit point debuff, procs, and also with the toxic damage. I think also looking at it, another real popular one is reactive because that gives a resistance debuff along with some fire damage. But then people have different views with what they want to actually look at. I have used Gravik on an ice tune for PvP because I wanted to slow the recharge rate, and I was looking at really trying to debuff recovery for them. So it kind of depends upon what you're looking at. This is that always active power that just adds to your attacks. Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about is the Judgement slot. And this is your attack power that's an Incarnate. It does a lot of area effect damage. And depending upon which one you pick, it depends upon what it is. So the most common one and the most popular one is Ion. It's extreme energy damage. It also does chain effects. So if the spawn isn't close together, it'll still spread out. So it's become one of the more popular ones. So we're looking at Mighty, that's your smashing damage. Cryonic is your cold. Pyronic is your fire. Void is going to be your energy, and then Vorpal is going to just be more of that smashing and lethal. So depending upon which way you want to go and which kind of damage type you're looking for your character, this right here is it's up in the air. Again, the most common one picked is Ion. Alright, next one we're looking at is your Destiny. This is another one of those level up ones we have. So when we're looking for the Destiny slots, we're looking at Ageless. This is the one that does your recharge rate and your recovery. Barrier. This one brings up your defense and your resistance. Clarion is the one that gives you a large status effect protection. Rebirth will heal allies and give you plus to your hit points. And then Incandescent is the teleport, heal, receive, and then also does like a knockback stun to all the bad guys around you. Okay, and the next one we're going to talk about is the lore slot. This is one of the ones that it doesn't really matter as much of what you want to do. There's a lot of them to choose from. So, I mean, these are temporary pets that they have like a 5-minute limit. If you have some, it will have a 5-minute limit with a 3-minute for the second pet, depending upon which one you pick. Now, the most popular, I'll just kind of go over the most popular, is going to be Banished Pantheon, which has really good debuff. Chimorians, which has a high single target damage. And Polar Lights and Storm Elementals have high AoE damage. Now, again, lore pets are less, there's not as much difference between them. They're all have their bonuses and minuses to it. Okay, now we're going to look into the hybrid slot. In the hybrid slot, what we're looking at is you have 4 main ones. The most popular that I've always seen is going to be between Assault and Melee. Those are your 2 most popular. So what does Assault do? Assault will either give you a 65% chance to do damage, or it will just make your chances have do a double strike. Me personally, I'm always a fan of the double strike when it comes to assault. I've never really taken control, so I don't see how well it is, but it will give you a Mag 1 control and also gives a psionic damage, unless you want to add a whole bunch of procs to your, control procs to your attacks. Melee, it depends upon which way you want to go. If you're taking melee, either you're going to have a resistance bonus or a defense bonus. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. Support, again, support will actually be more along the lines of, support will be more along the lines of, support would be more like, is like actually having the leadership pool all in one, giving your damage, giving your accuracy, and giving defense to you and everyone around you. So, okay, now that we've talked a lot about the different incarnates, we want to talk about a little bit about slotting. And what do you pick for slotting? Now, there's two things you really want to look at. Is you want to look at your character's gaps, and gaps are the parts that, are you having end problems? Do you have defense problems? Do you have damage problems? So what you're going to look at is what can most likely fill those gaps. And the second part is, now that my gaps are filled, what do I really want to enhance on my character? So first, what we look at is you look at your gaps. Which of these incarnates are you going to use to fill which gaps? If you take one gap and you fill it with one incarnate, you won't need to fill it with a second incarnate. So if you take agility or cardiac, which gives a huge endurance bonus, you may not need to use ageless. So you can maybe then take barrier. But you also might want to take ageless, because ageless allows you to have a faster recharge. So if you have a slow recharge, that might be a gap that you want to fill with ageless. But then that ageless also will fill your endurance, so then you may not need it. You may be able to take a different alpha. So when you're looking at it, your main ones that are going to affect you is going to be your alpha, your destiny, and your hybrid. Those three are the easiest to fill gaps on. Your interface and your judgment, those usually just increase your damage or your debuffs. Lore, for the most part, is, since the pets are 5 minutes, you're going to want to, those are fairly temporary. So your biggest ones that are going to be able to fill your gaps with are going to be your alpha, your destiny, and your hybrid. The ones that you're going to use to increase are going to be your alpha, destiny, and hybrid. So, again, you want to look at which one's going to fill. If you have end problems, cardiac and agility are good fixes. Or ageless is a good fix also. If you have defensive problems, barrier is a good start. If you have damage problems, you can look at muscular or any of the other interfaces that give minus hit point, or any of the other alphas, so, and these can fill your gaps. Okay, now what we're going to look at is, how do you get the pieces of materials that you can craft with? Well, we're going to look at, there's two main ways to get the pieces, other than just farming and then rebuying and leveling up and getting your VIP levels. So first, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the Incarnate Trials and the Incarnate Task Forces. Now, I will do breakdowns of these also later on too. First is the Apex Task Force. This is a really simple, quick task force. Usually if you have a good team, you can get it done under 20 minutes or right around 20 minutes. And the same thing for the Tin Mage task force. If a good team, you could be able to get this done in anywhere from no more than like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Now, these all have the same bonuses at the end. So you got your behavioral adjustment, lambda, keys, and you can see these are all the incarnate trials that you could do. Because if doing the same thing over and over, it will get ultimately boring. So these is a way you can like mix it up. And the other way we are looking at is you have the Dark Astoria Ozark. The main one to use is probably the quickest one to use. It has the same bonus as if you're doing either a trial or the task force at the end. You just go into your Ouroboros Arc, look for Burdens of the Past, and you'll see. So if I find Calabra Kill and Signal, and I'll find some of your answers. This is the one right here. You can farm this arc over and over and still get the same bonuses. About anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes on average, and you can easily soul it. I always pick the Incarnate piece. You may get a lot of commons, but once you get a rare or a very rare, that's huge. And if nothing else, you look at it as the Incarnate piece is still 20 threads. All right, thank you for going through this whole ride with me. So I just want you to like and subscribe, hit that notification button. Let me know in the comments below what more videos you may need or what other content you want. I got some other content that I'm already working on, and I might even throw some non-City of Heroes stuff coming out. Check out our sponsors webpage. Hopefully this answered a lot of your questions. Stay classy, and I'll keep putting these out.